My Pokemon team, if I was a scientist working in the Arctic, I did the Antarctic in the last video, so check that one out too. The rules are team of 6, 3 honourable mentions, a legendary you can't have in your team but that would fit that category. This is only Gen 1 through 4, so if you know of any others, please do educate me. And this is more me choosing them based off kind of what I know about the Arctic, the wildlife that lives there, and the environment. First on your team, you'd have a Glaceon. We've not had an evolution yet in one of these videos, so let's throw one in there. I can imagine this thing like prowling around all around the Arctic, over the sea ice, around the North Pole, the island, so absolutely Glaceon's making the cut. Next up, we're going to have a Lapras. I didn't put Lapras in the Antarctic team because there's a lot more ocean around the Arctic, so I'd imagine Lapras will probably spend more time around the waters of the Arctic, going between the islands and in and out and under the sea ice. Next up, we have Ursaring. Now, there isn't a polar bear Pokemon as far as I know unless it's in the later generations, so I'm going to throw a bear in there because we need a bear in the Arctic, we need something to represent the polar bears, so Ursaring is going to fit the cut. Next up we have a Abomasnow for something a little more snowy and a little less icy. There is less grass kind of variety down in Antarctica, there's more of that wildlife variety up in the Arctic in some of the areas around Canada, Siberia, so I think a Abomasnow, even though not living at the pole, would definitely exist within the Arctic Circle. 5 on the team is a Walrun, so we do have Walrus in the Northern Hemisphere up in the Arctic and not in the Southern Hemisphere in the Antarctic, so Walrun is fitting the Arctic team. And the final one I think you'd face in this team for an Arctic scientist is Mammothswine. So even though these things aren't living anymore, the mammoths were more associated with North America, with Europe, so I'd imagine these will be living up towards the polar regions in the north, so a Mammothswine is what you'd face at the end. For our 3 honourable mentions, first up another ice variety, we've got Weevil. I don't really know much about it, but I can imagine this thing sort of scurrying around again more in the tundra kind of region up towards the Arctic, not really round at the poles. Next honourable mention goes to Cloyster. I wanted something to kind of represent narwhals. I know it's not a narwhal, but I already put Dugong in the Antarctic, and this has a long horn, even though narwhals don't have horns, it's a tooth, but I kind of wanted something to represent this, so it's going in the Arctic team. Third honourable mention goes to Stantler. So we need something to represent the reindeer and somewhere, the caribou somewhere, so that's why Stantler comes into the honourable mention, didn't quite make the cut. And finally, the legendary you would have in the Arctic is Articuno. You can't not have Articuno in the Arctic. Yes, it could probably fit in the Antarctic as well, but I already put something else there. So Articuno is the legendary you would have in the Arctic. There we go, there's the team. Let me know what you think. Check out the Antarctic one, and I've got more of these to come.